Hey, it's the Rooster. Bobby Leach from the TimesWeekly.com coming to you live for Cheap Seats alongside my partner here, Big Tone.
TimesWeekly.com?
Yeah. What?
What happened? TimesWeekly.com.
Hey,
Sports Nest. You know something, Rooster, I'm telling you. This is our third show in a row. You know, 2 more will be a series. 2 more after that will be in syndication, okay? So I just want to inform you that. Okay?
Hey, I mean, did you see the new car in the driveway?
New car, I'm telling you. You're holding on me. All I want is a Happy Meal from McDonald's and a large Diet Coke. That's all I want. I'm not asking too much, am I?
Well, the big news is for us, anyhow, is, you know, I've been writing for the Times Weekly for a couple of years, but, you know, we've met with the Times Weekly management, and we are now going to syndicate our Cheap Seat show to the TimesWeekly.com. Bigger audience, obviously, and we want, you know, but
I'll tell you something. If you met with your boss and everything, but you had to do some good selling because somebody wants to pay us to do this.
Yeah, go figure. You know,
go figure. Way to go, man. Get us. Hey, that's a big way to go to you, my friend.
Hey, they're paying me, not you.
Oh!
Hey!
Hey! Oh!
All right, so hey, let's talk about. I mean, what a great week last week it was for football and area football teams. And what a bad week it was for a lot of teams. I mean, I want to start off before we get any farther about saying that on Saturday I went out on a Saturday afternoon to catch one of my favorite schools, actually a couple of my favorite schools, because I like HF too, but I got to see Joliet West play, and I was really thinking that was going to be a game.
Boy, were you wrong.
Boy, was I wrong. One, I was all wet. You know, it was really coming down. It was raining, you know, quite a bit, windy, and, you know, I mean, that goes with the territory when you're playing football and you're outdoors in the fall in Chicago, but yeah, it wasn't too cold, but it felt pretty cold if you were on the Joliet West sidelines. I mean, let me tell you, 34-0 by the end of the first quarter. I mean, this is by the end of the first quarter. It just seemed like, you know, if I could say this in a nice way, it just looked like the fight wasn't there by all in black and gold on that day. I mean, I just be honest with you. I mean, it really, to me, it looked like they were. A lot of cases were laying down to HF because HF would, you know, run 1, 2, 3 offensive plays and boom, touchdown. 2, 3, 4 offensive plays, boom, touchdown again. They just couldn't stop them. And they were a highlight reel. You know, HF, not taking away any credit from HF, because let me tell you, I don't know how they lost as badly as they did to Lincoln Way East into Bolingbrook. I mean, I know they weren't huge spreads, but their offense is really capable, and if their defense can catch up with their offense in the, you know, before over the next couple of weeks, if the defense can hold its own in the playoffs, HF is going to be a scary team. I mean, because offensively they're tough.
You look at it this way: last year they lost to Holman Flossmoor, Bolingbrook, and they put on a good run. You know, they made it to the semifinals of the state championship. Yeah. Maybe they might do it again.
Yeah, they lost to Naperville Central, and you know, that was just an uncharacteristic. I mean, their offense is really what hurt them at Naperville Central. There were, I think, you know, like 6 turnovers in that game. There were a lot of picks. It was just crazy how it turned out for HF. But you know, they had said to me, and I asked the coach this too. I said, hey, you know, last year, you know, at the last time I had seen the coach, you know, I said, hey, what's the secret to your success? And, you know, he pointed to the kids and that, but, you know, we found out later that, hey, the kids were all telling us, hey, we just bought in. We like the guy and we bought in. And his coaching staff may be one of the best coaching staffs I've seen. I mean, you guys are phenomenal coaching staff. They're all humping on the sidelines. Nobody's standing around sucking H2O. You know, I mean, they're out there doing their job, coaching kids up when they come off the field, you know, wherever they are in the coaching, you know, anarchy in the place, you know, wherever they fall.
Well, you said they got some head coaches from other schools there.
Yeah, I mean, and they look like it too. I mean, they're focused, they're sharp, and, you know, with that type of coaching staff, you can get a kid to follow. You can get a kid to learn. And I think that HF is only getting better. So, you know, they lost to Bolingbrook. They lost to Lincoln Way East. You know, I mean, but great season for them.
Yeah, great so far.
So, tell me about your game. I want to hear where Coach Tone went, because Coach Tone was going to go here, then he was going to go there, then he was going to go here.
I'll tell you.
And he ended up somewhere, but I still haven't figured out exactly where
I'll tell you, I was heading out to Hinsdale Central, okay. Left my wallet at home. The young son wanted to come, couldn't pay for the young son, had to go all the way back. Okay, I was thinking about going to Plainfield Central, but Plainfield Central, by the time I would have got there, would have been 8:15 game, would have been 3/4 of the way over. So I sped back to Hinsdale South, made it 7-7.
Wait a minute, stop. They were going to make you pay for your kid to come in?
Yeah, they were going to make me pay for the young son. The older son I could have got.
Shame.
But the young son I had to pay for. But that's all going for a good cause. You know that,
sure.
So what the heck?
But they had to make you go all the way back. That's a $25 trip.
Okay, then it was 7-7. Then they started shooting it out. Final score 38-33 maybe. I'm not sure. I have to look.
But Downer South won.
Downer South won. They won the Cannon. The Cannon is pretty prestigious between the two schools. I mean, and Downer South, that was their championship. That was their state championship right there. I mean, it was a shootout. Hinsdale South would score, Downer South would score. They would hold them, punts, this, that, and other. I mean, I sat on the sideline. We have Tone, my young son, and he's a nester in waiting, I guess, or a little bird. He hasn't grown to the big eagle yet. But he was doing all the filming, all the running around. I was sitting with my young son, eating a hot dog and, thinking all the good interviews I was going to give at the end of the game. But basically, we went out there to see Coach Belkis. And Coach Belkis, I mean, respected, Hall of Famer. It's his last year as a coach and a teacher at Downer South. He plans on retiring from teaching, but doesn't plan on retiring from coaching. He's going somewhere. He hasn't decided yet, so.
Big night, though, for him.
Big night.
That was a big night. Big win.
And there's a lot of people from different walks of life. There's a policeman, old teachers, old players. They all came to see him. So
Coach Belskis had, that was great for Coach to see him win that game. Like you said, that in a season like this, that very well could have been like a state championship or a playoff win. It was a big win no matter what. And you got to talk to him after the game.
Yeah, I did. And, I asked him what his, what he considered what would be his greatest accomplishment as his 32 years, or 33. 32 was last year, right? 2-1, 3. Okay. Anyway, what was his 33 years of, head coach, and what was his greatest accomplishment?
Oh, check it out. Here's what he had to say.
This being your last year coaching at Downer South, what do you feel is your greatest accomplishment here?
My greatest accomplishment is when I see like Tony Harubi, the policeman here tonight who played, and all the kids that went through our program that are now contributing to the community and are representing themselves and being great parents, great fathers and husbands and community, people that's our greatest accomplishment. That's why we're here. We're here to take young men and in some small way help them become productive people in our society. And I can look at our coaches and say, we've had a lot of wins and we've had our share of losses, but I'm so proud to see the kids and what they've been able to do in life, and that's what makes me the proudest.
So you're not hanging up the clipboard?
I don't think I will be. I still like to coach, but it just won't be here next year. So we'll enjoy it. There'll be time for that. We've got one more game next week, and we got some work to do. So we're looking forward to it.
So hey, Coach Belskis, he's proud of something, and he's still got a lot left in him. Like you said, 33 years in the game, and God willing, he's going to have another 20.
At least.
And you might be calling him the next Joe Pa. He might be there retiring, in football. So, but kudos to Coach Belskis and his Downer South team. He got those kids turned around in a really big game. Mm-hmm. So they did take that step that you're looking for as a coach. They started off real rough, and they didn't look like they really bought into a lot. And by the middle of the season, end of the season, he got them flipped into playing some great football. And that's the bottom line. At the end of the day, yeah, you want to win a state championship, but if you're a good coach, you want to take a team from week 1 to week 9 and show improvement. Yeah. And that's what's happened here. So again,
that's basic stuff.
Hats off to Coach Belskis and Downer South and Hinsdale South. Shame on you guys. So it serves them right, making you have to drive that way. See, same thing that I did in Lakeway East last year. See, there you go.
That's all right.
All right, so then I got a chance to go see Bolingbrook on Friday night, and I got to tell you, I thought this was going to be a lot closer of a contest. Bolingbrook whipped up on Lincoln Way Central 40-7, and it was not close. It was never close. It didn't even look like the same Lincoln Way Central team that I've seen on tape over the years. Mm-hmm. They could not keep control of the ball. Their defense was great. By the way, Lincoln Way Central, your defensive line may be the best defensive line I've seen all season long, bar none.
Oh, yeah.
They got a great defensive line.
They do.
But their offense, they can't hang on the ball.
Once you get that second tier, though, I don't know. A little suspect.
Suspect, and listen, the biggest news that came out of that for me was Quincy Woods filled Aaron Bailey's shoes. I didn't think they could be filled. He did it. He did it at least against Lincoln Way Central. He filled the shoes. He didn't turn the ball over. He scored a ton. He ran a ton. Ran the offense. No mistakes. And he's a sophomore.
That's all you ask. That's all you got to ask.
So congratulations to Bolingbrook, and as a reward, Bolingbrook is now this week they travel to Lockport.
Well, what can you say about Lockport? Lockport, shocking maybe. They haven't found their offense. It happens.
Well, I don't think that Lockport's got a shot in this game. I think that Bolingbrook's going to end up 7-2 on the year.
Yeah.
I picked them. I picked the Raiders to win 33-0. I don't think that Lockport's going to be able to score against that defense, which is only getting better, only improving. They gained a little bit of confidence last week. Their offense is gaining a little bit of confidence. Aaron Bailey is definitely not going to play in that game.
The defense get a little chippy?
Yep.
Oh, there you go. That's what we were waiting for, chippy defense.
They're getting chippy. They're getting aggressive. They had a lot of picks in that game. I mean, they really took advantage of their speed. And I don't know. I was really impressed. This is the old Bolingbrook. This is the Bolingbrook I saw last year defensively. And, you have to gauge it against the competition. But like I said, Lincoln Way Central is not a bad football team. And Lincoln Way Central, the bottom line is like their defense, although you could say they're suspect in some ways, their defense has kept them in almost every game this season. And,
I agree.
So I'll give it to them. But Bolingbrook beat a decent Lincoln Way Central team. Now they face Lockport 7-2, and then we'll see where they land on the seeding and see whether or not Aaron Bailey even makes it back for the playoffs. Because I got to tell you, my sources told me at the game that they're not sure that Aaron Bailey is going to play the rest of the season. And you know what? I don't know that I would either.
They could be a facade.
It could be. It could be, but in any event, they're not going to need him for Lockport, so don't expect to see him out there.
No.
And Quincy Woods is holding his own, so that's good news for Bolingbrook. In other area news, let's talk about Providence Catholic. Our area, they're one of the big guns. 7-1. Beat St. Ignatius 43-7.
Defense. The beginning of the year they said that I didn't think they had a good defense. I never said that. Their defense is outstanding.
Their defense better be outstanding because they're 7-1. They're inviting Mount Carmel this Friday night, week 9.
Epic battle.
That's a big battle. And Mount Carmel 7-1, Providence 7-1. The winner of that game could win a share of the conference title, the Catholic Blue title, should Loyola lose on Friday night to St. Rita. So if Loyola gets a loss and one of those two teams wins, they'll get a share of it. Although both those teams, Mount Carmel and Providence, both lost to Loyola, so I don't know how that really works. But they'll get a share of the title. And, now it's a seeding thing, too. If you're a 7-1 team, you want to be 8-1.
You're going to get good seed.
You want to be 8-1. You want to have that top seed, or at the very least, you want to have a 2 seed. So it'd be interesting. I think that Providence is probably going to get a 2 seed. But remember last year all the 1 seeds that got knocked off in the first, second round? That's it. Lincoln Way East this weekend did what they do. We called it last week, 49-0 over.
Yeah, Lincoln Way East. I had to be in real life, or as we call it. This is our fantasy life, as we said last week. No, like I said, we're going week to week now. Now a couple more shows will be a series. Well, let me know when we get into syndication. Anyway, back to the Lincoln Way East. Guys didn't need me this week. That's why I didn't show. Plus, I don't feel good in the rain, so I get very testy. So I decided, work a little extra time, make some extra money for the kids. I'm here for the kids. But anyway, Lincoln Way East does what Lincoln Way East do. They won 49-0. Enough said.
Well, 49-0. There's not a whole lot to say. Now they're inviting Joliet West to their stadium on Friday night, and like I said, Joliet West, they're in trouble too. I got to tell you though, Joliet West has got some players. They've got players in that football team.
They're not focused though.
They're not focused. The whole team's not focused. If you get all those guys,
you get those guys to
go in the same direction that Aubrey's pushing them, maybe they're going to win more games than they lose. But the fact of the matter is until that team becomes a team. And fights for every inch. You got to fight for it.
You said last week, if you're going to be a football player, be a football player, not a cheerleader.
Right, and if you're a cheerleader, well, that's why you're not winning football games.
There you go.
Like I said before, don't blame the coach because I was there. I'm going to tell you right now, that had nothing to do with Coach Aubrey. Nothing. And pretty much most of the losses this season don't have a whole lot to do with Coach Aubrey.
No.
It's called this, and until you find that. it's going to be tough. You're going to find out real quick who's got this on Friday night because Lincoln Way East is not going to lay down. They're not going to hold any prisoners. So be ready for a war. I'm calling that game a big blowout too. I'm thinking somewhere along the lines of 42-6. I do think that West has got the ability to score in that game. They got some good athletes that want to get in the end zone, and they'll do it themselves if they can't get it from help from their teammates. They'll do it themselves with their own athletic ability.
I don't know. Joe Lincoln Way East got some hitters though. Are you going to score? You're going to pay for it though.
Well, you're going to pay for it, but there are some football players at Joliet West, and I applaud you guys for not giving up when you were down 34-0 in the first quarter, because there were a lot of kids. They were still fighting. They were still battling in the fourth quarter. That's that's kudos to you guys. It doesn't really, like I said before, it doesn't matter what the scoreboard says.
Our guy
You're out there fighting, playing football.
Our guy Nick Freeze though, he was there. He was playing.
Yep. I mean, they're out there playing, and so kudos to them. We'll talk about Plainfield Central. Plainfield Central got a big win Friday night against Plainfield East. It was 14-0, which that worries me a little bit. I mean, I think the spread, if you're a playoff team and you're a serious contender, you're beating Plainfield East by more than 14 points. And I know that there's a little bit of a rivalry there, and all that said and done, and that Plainfield East is playing spoiler. But if you're Plainfield Central, I think their defense did their job.
Defense did their job. Offensively, they have a secret weapon there called Dane the Dane Train Muscatelli. You put the Dane Train in, you're going to be okay.
Well, Dane Muscatelli, but there's a lot of guys over there. I mean, Devon Goodlow, another big receiver. I'm partial to him, only because I know the kid, and he's a big, tall receiver, and he's got decent hands. He's got to work on it. He's a high school kid. He's going to have to work on his game a little bit. But I'll tell you what, for any colleges that are out there, might want to take a look at some of the kids over at Plainfield Central, because there's quite a few of them over there that can play at the next level.
Gino, did we get his right?
Giordano.
Gino, what did we call him? Tortelli for it?
Yeah.
Holy cow! What's another Italian guy? Italian guy, kid. He can run the ball. He's probably a linebacker on defense, if I can remember.
He does it all.
Does it all.
Jordan Ellingwood, another kid that just you don't want to get in the way of him. He's a freight train, but I don't know. I thought that spread should have been more. Congratulations, though, because at the end of the day, they weren't going to make the playoffs with 5 wins, not based on their playoff points. What we already know, I don't think that they were going to win. They've got to beat, or they go on the road this week to Oswego. And I'm going to tell you something, Oswego's the real deal. If there's one team in the SBC that you can say, that's the real deal, it's Oswego. I mean, they beat South last week 52-7.
52-7.
52-7. I mean, they whipped up on them. Yeah, no one's stopping their offense, and their defense is holding people.
No one can say they're trying to find their offense with 52-7. I think they found it.
The week before, 35-7 over Plainfield North.
I think they found their offense.
So they got an offense. I don't know. So I don't think that Central's going to have a good night. I think this is going to be a loss for Central along the lines of 40-14. But you know what? If you're a Central Wildcat right now, You need to pay attention Friday, because that's who you're going to see in the first round of the playoffs. You're going to see somebody of that caliber first round of the playoffs. So if you can't run with that team, if you feel you can't run with that team, all you're going to do is take up space in the playoffs.
All you do, if you can't run with them, stay on the bus. Stay on the bus.
Stay on the bus. So for me, I'm gauging myself, my own play, my teammates' play around me against Oswego. They're absolutely one of the better teams for the playoffs. I think they're going to have a great run in the playoffs. And if you want to know how good you are, beating that team, or at least keeping the game close, that's what it's going to take to win in the playoffs, is beat a team like that.
So we have to go. Are we going to cover that game, because they got a good concession stand? I might have to travel out to Oswego.
That's going to be a
good concession stand.
That's going to be a good game. We talked about Minooka and Plainfield North briefly, just a little bit, but Plainfield North, they did exactly what we claimed last week. We said they would win 27-20. They won 28-20. So they hit all their extra points. But
another team, like you said, with Plainfield Central. Another team.
I mean, Plainfield North, they're in. They got their their 6th win now, and they're in. But Minooka, I don't know what happened with Minooka. I'm still Minooka's a good football team. And they hung with Plainfield North. No one's hung with Oswego this year, but Minooka is so streaky. Against Plainfield South, I think that's a game that Minooka probably should have won, and they didn't get that win. But Minooka's taking on Romeville, and Romeville, Man.
No more upset specials for you, Romeoville.
Yeah, 37-12, a loss for Romeoville last week.
My God.
At Oswego East, and so this is it for them. I got to say, I think Romeoville's going to be 0-9 after this. I mean, I think Manuka's going to come in with a chip on their shoulders. I think their seniors are going to be upset. They did not make the playoffs. I think they kind of saw it coming probably middle of the season that they saw it coming.
I'm telling you, when I saw them play Morris took the fight out of them, man. Morris, big team, ugly team.
Well, that's what Oswego does, and those are the kinds of teams that you're going to run into in the playoffs. So if you're a serious playoff contender and you want to get downstate, you got to beat that team. You got to beat the big guys, and if you can't beat those big guys, then like I said, it's nothing more than filling a dance card. But that's what I don't like about the system is there's so many bad games at the first week. I mean, there's so many lopsided victories, and I see a lot of tears, just as many tears you'll see from guys in week 10 as you do in week 9. The guys that didn't make the playoffs. However, there are a lot of teams in week 9 that didn't win a game all year long and win week 9, and they're walking away with smiles on their faces. And that's why I say, there's only one team that really smiles at the end of the season. That's the team that's holding the trophy, right? But that's not really true.
No.
I mean, if you win your last game, you're walking away feeling good about yourself,
and you keep somebody out of the playoffs.
That's even better.
Yeah.
Right. And Romeoville knows that from last year, doing that to Central. But again, Romeoville, there's just no. I just don't think there's any hope for Romeoville this week. I think that honestly, they've got a lot of soul searching to do in the offseason. You've got to put more than 35 kids on the sidelines for a varsity football team, and you got to have more than 20 football players of those 37 that can really play and play well and are big, strong, and fast. If you don't have those things, you're not going to compete. You're just not. You're not going to compete until you compete in the weight room. We said it over and over, until the discipline is there. And it can't be left up to the coaches.
Yeah.
Coaches can't force them in the weight room. Teachers can't force them in the weight room. But like I said, I mean, there's a lot of people out there that blame the school or blame the coaches or blame this. And like I say, I mean, 100% of the blame can be laid and rested at the feet of the player.
Well,
because I'm going to tell you, and I know, that if you give 100% to something and the man next to you gives 100% to something and so on down the line, you're going to at least be competitive.
Oh, yeah.
You may not win every football game, but you're going to be competitive. I have yet to see that on Romeoville. I don't see Romeoville being very competitive.
There's got to be a lot. I mean, there's got to be a lot of athletes. I don't know if they're lazy. They don't want to play. They got something else to do. I mean, or they don't believe, okay, Romeoville's been losing for what? The last 5-6 seasons, maybe?
That's it.
Maybe they don't believe, if you got a coach in there that will make these kids believe this is the direction we're going, okay, I'm going, come on, follow me, right?
Right.
I mean, then everything's great. But, like I said, there's got to be tons and tons of athletes in Romeoville that just don't want to play.
Well, I mean, Big Tone, too. I mean, come on, you and I have been hanging around each other for many years, and you don't win every day.
No.
We probably lose more than we win.
Yeah.
But
when we win,
it's awesome. It's a great feeling. But the fact of the matter is, even in life, you lose every day. You lose something. You lose a party, and no matter what, every single person out there loses at least one day of their life at the end of every day. So you're always losing something.
Yeah, but
you got to get up and you got to keep fighting, and you got to. When times get tough, that's when you find out who really is in your corner and who really isn't in your corner. And the people that aren't in your corner, that's okay that they're not in your corner. Just, you don't have to get even with them, but you just know that you want to surround yourself with people that have your best interest and you have a common goal. And if you have a group of guys out there that simply, one kid is playing football because, he wants to go to college. One kid's playing football because his girlfriend likes him playing football. One kid's playing football, or 10 kids are playing football because mom and dad want them to play football. But it takes at least 40 full-time 17, 18-year-old, even a little bit younger athletes to commit to that. You got to commit to it, and if you don't commit to it, you're 0-9.
Something.
It's just that simple.
It's funny. I was, during the course of our seasons together, I look at the sidelines. I look, everybody stand in line, paying attention to the game, getting ready to come in a moment's notice. 99% of the time they win.
Right.
People that are mulling around, talking about, winking at the cheerleaders, waving to mom and dad, not paying attention to the game, get wrong personnel going in, you know what I mean? They lose, right?
So. Well, that happened Friday night. I mean, at Romeoville's game, Calvin had told us, hey, listen, big first down play. I mean, they got the ball inside their own 5-yard line, and they come up with a big first down, and absolutely no reaction from the sidelines. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the point. That's the whole point.
They're all going, hey, that's a nice 10:30. We should be out of here. What 10:15? Right. That's a nice 10:30. Right. Call the girls.
Right. I don't get it. Like I said, football's football, and I don't care if you're 0-9 or you're 9-0. We said it almost every single week, and I've seen a lot of it this year. Maybe that's why we brought it up so much. I've seen a lot of people out there, and I won't name names and I won't name teams, but I've seen a lot of you people out there, a lot of football players out there that just don't care.
Not giving up. They
don't care. And that maybe that's the way it is, the way of the world today. Yeah, I don't believe that, though. I really don't believe that, because there are some really good football players out there, some really good kids that maybe not necessarily all-state, all-American type players, but they give that effort. They give an all-state, all-American effort every day, and that's all I can ask for. I mean, if I'm a football coach, hey, dude, just give me your best.
Yeah, and you can hold your own.
I'll give you my best, you give me your best, and we give our best, and you know what? We're going to scratch and claw and fight for every yard, together. And we're going to lose every game together, and we're going to win every game together, but at the end of the season, we will be together. Mm-hmm. This is something that
Yeah, you got to use Joliet Central as an example. Joliet Central is a stick team like that.
Sure. They stick together. There's obviously, I guarantee you, there's some people on the sidelines and on that team that are not happy with the fact they went their entire high school career and didn't win a football game. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine? You go your entire 4 years playing for a program. First at Joliet West and Joliet Central, as they were combined 4 years ago, and then 3 seasons you play with Central, and you didn't win one football game. Let me ask you something. What would motivate you to continue to come out?
Coach.
There you go.
Coach.
So everybody that's coming out and playing for this is why I tell you I respect these teams. I respect Joliet West. I respect any team that has guys on their team that have gone their entire career with 1 win, 2 wins, 0 wins, and they keep coming back, and they keep coming at you, and they keep getting punched in the mouth, and they keep getting up, and they keep coming back and fighting. Yeah. And to me, honestly, that's the beautiful thing about athletics, because it ain't about the scoreboard.
Nope.
It's about that very thing, getting up and going after it. I get punched in the face every single day from something.
But you got to keep punching.
There's 2 choices. Yeah. I can either punch back and keep fighting back, or I can assume room temperature. That's it. Nope. That's your choice in life.
Yep.
So if you can learn that out of football, I think that ultimately that's what it is. And honestly, our area teams have done phenomenal. This is probably one of the best areas in the entire state for football. Last year, Montini state champions, Bolingbrook state champions, Lincoln Way East is in this group, Mount Carmel's in this group, Homewood Flossmoor's in this group, Sandburg, Providence, Morris, Minooka even. Minooka's had a good couple of runs too, Plainfield North is knocking at the door. Oswego's doing great. There are some really good football programs in this area. And then there's some guys that are right there, right at the cusp. A couple more seasons, maybe a couple of more kids moving into, and they're going to be right there. The fact is if you're not a good football team based on just talent, forget what we had said earlier about having the heart to play, because that's a whole other issue altogether. But if you're missing talent, if you've got injuries to deal with, this is a tough area to make any real gain or comeback, because, you're playing against some of the best teams in the state year in and year out.
Yeah.
You look at Joliet Central, who do they got to face? Homewood Flossmoor they play. Bolingbrook they play. Lincoln Way East they play. Sandburg they play. There's 4 teams that every single season are guaranteed to be at the top of their game. Then you're looking at Lockport, who, they're down this year, but Lockport was a playoff team last year, and they won back-to-back state titles not very long ago. So you're looking at this, kind of a who's who of high school football in their conference, and you're starting up a program.
Yeah.
How many games do you think you're going to win?
You're not going to win many.
You're not going to win many.
Nope.
So, the fact is that they're coming out and they're fighting and they're doing it. That's all you can do. Mm-hmm. That's really all you can do. And so I give props to them every week because I believe in them. I believe in those guys. I think that those guys are the type of people that you want as your neighbor. Mm-hmm. We're getting to be old men, man.
Oh, yeah.
Someone's going to have to pay for our Social Security, man. So we better be raising up another generation.
According to the government, we're going to be broke by the time we're in Social Security. Yeah. So that's a different story for a different day.
Oh, it's too late. I'm already there, being broke. So.
Yeah.
Anyhow, listen. It's been a great run, and we're coming up on the end of the football season. And
end of the road.
End of the road, and for the Sports Nest, that is also the case. We're coming to the end of the road for the Sports Nest. I mean, we are going to start working on the Southwest Sports Nest. That is, we're going to start transitioning over to the Times Weekly newspaper. You can find it at www.thetimesweekly.com. It's a weekly newspaper that comes out every Thursday throughout Will County. There's stores all over the place to get it. You can go online and find a distribution list as to where you can pick the paper up for free. But you can always see it online if you sign up for the electronic edition, and I hope that you'll do that. You'll see columns from us both that we write on a weekly basis and extra sports that we don't necessarily cover here on Cheap Seats.
I got to write a column?
Well,
I will talk about that.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, okay.
Anyhow, but again, it's a great newspaper. It's been around 30 years. And this is my personal invitation. Come on over and continue to support us. I mean, this is a tough thing that we do week in and week out.
Hey, is the electric copy they got to pay for that?
Nope.
Hey, even better, free.
Yep, free.
Can't pass up the free stuff.
So you can find me on Facebook. Look up the Rooster Bobby Leach on Facebook and friend me and find a link there to the Times Weekly. Also on the Sports Nest.
You can find me at the Romeoville Applebee's. Okay.
Yeah. Now you got a Facebook page, don't you?
Do I? Yeah. I got a Facebook page, but that's for real life. This is our fantasy life,
Oh, okay, yeah, got it. All right, well, hey, listen, Tone, as always,
okay,
another great edition of Cheap Seats, and
it was okay, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was okay.
All right, good.
Well, like we said, and we say every week, congratulations to all you football players.
And if you're gonna be a football player, don't be a cheerleader. Be a football player. All right, is that enough?
Yeah,
Did I give you enough?
You gave me enough.
All right.
But we do
See ya.
We do want to say thank you to all you folks out there that tune into us every week. And also, I want to point out, as I was so rudely interrupted by he's gone. We can say anything we want to say about him right now. He's gone. No, I won't do it. It's too tempting, but I won't do it. So anyhow, I do want to say, hey, congratulations to all you varsity senior football players. In fact, for all you varsity players of every sport, that you made it this far. This may be the end of your season, but it certainly isn't the end of your life. I want to thank you and give you a tip of the hat. Thank you for giving us so much to write about, so much enjoyment. I wouldn't do this if I wasn't enjoyed and thoroughly entertained by our area high school athletes every single week. And so again, I thank you. I wish you the best of luck. If you're heading into the playoffs, great, good for you. We'll see you there. If you're heading into week 9 and this is it, make sure you take a few minutes to take it all in. Take your helmet off, suck in that nice fall, cold, crisp air, and make sure that you say thank you to your coaching staff. I don't care if you get along with them or not. Just say thank you before you walk away. And trust me, you'll never regret that statement. As always, we'll see you right here next week, only on Cheap Seats.